Shame thrives in silence, but healing begins with a single word. The absence of shame allows you to live authentically, but it's not a free pass for irresponsible actions. Shame may be the heaviest of burdens, but it teaches us the most profound lessons. We are often more ashamed of what others might think than the truth of our own actions. Shame isn't just a feeling, it's a message from the soul trying to redirect you. When we embrace our mistakes without shame, we grow into our truest selves. True freedom comes not from hiding your flaws, but from accepting them without shame. Shame may linger, but it doesn't define you unless you let it. Sometimes, the greatest act of self-love is forgiving yourself when shame tries to take over. Without self-awareness, shame becomes a prison. With it, it becomes the key to liberation. Shame is the quiet voice inside, telling you that you can do better. Listen, but don't let it control you. It's not the absence of shame that makes you strong, but the courage to stand in it. Let your actions be louder than your shame, and your integrity louder than your fears. Shame fades when you realize that your value isn't dependent on perfection. Shame may cause you to shrink, but love will help you rise again. The real question isn't where your sense of shame is, but whether you're listening to the lessons it holds. Shame can be an illusion that binds you to the past, but self-love can cut those chains. We all have moments of shame, but it's how we rise from them that shapes our character. Your worth is not measured by the mistakes you've made, but by how you learn from them without shame. The first step in healing is accepting the shame, not running from it. Shame makes us shrink into ourselves, but self-compassion helps us stretch beyond it. Shame often keeps us from asking for help, but reaching out is the first step towards growth. There's strength in feeling shame because it's a reminder that you still care about doing better. When you stop hiding from your shame, you allow your true self to emerge. Shame may attempt to control your thoughts, but only you have the power to shift your perspective. Let go of the shame that doesn't serve you and make room for a new understanding of yourself. Shame isn't the problem. It's the way we choose to deal with it that shapes our future. The most healing thing you can do for yourself is to confront your shame and let it go. Shame is not a scar. It's a reminder that growth is possible. Healing starts when we realize we are more than the shame we carry. You don't need to apologize for your humanity, no matter how much shame it brings. Shame is often a reflection of our fear of judgment, but true peace comes from self-acceptance. Shame doesn't serve as a teacher unless we allow it to transform us. Shame is temporary, but your growth and resilience can be lasting. You cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. Shame will always resurface until you face it. The more you embrace your mistakes with courage, the less power shame has over you. Sometimes the shame we feel is a distortion of the truth we're too afraid to confront. You are not your shame. You are a person with the ability to change. Shame can only take hold if you let it, but your sense of worth can never be stolen. When shame knocks on your door, remember, it only stays if you invite it to stay. The weight of shame is unbearable, but the lightness of forgiveness is transformative. Shame hides in secrecy, but your vulnerability is the antidote. Shame thrives in isolation, but it can be overcome with connection and understanding. Shame doesn't define your worth unless you allow it to distort your self-image. You don't need to hide from your shame to feel worthy. Embrace it to feel free. Shame is not a reflection of your character, but a challenge to your growth. Shame is a loud voice, but silence it with the calm assurance of self-love. What others think of you is less important than what you think of yourself when shame is present. Shame is a test of your strength, and how you rise to meet it is a testament to your growth. Shame is not something to run from, it's something to acknowledge and transform. Sometimes what we call shame is just the discomfort of confronting our truest selves. Shame whispers in your ear that you're not enough, but love speaks louder that you always were. To move past shame, we must first stop pretending it doesn't exist. The path to healing begins when we stop running from our mistakes and start learning from them. Shame fades when you give yourself the grace to grow. It's not shame that holds you back. It's your refusal to see your worth beyond your flaws. Let go of the shame that doesn't belong to you and create a new narrative for your life. Shame doesn't control you unless you let it. You have the power to break free. Shame may cloud your vision, but self-compassion will always clear the way forward. The hardest battles are often the ones against the shame we place on ourselves. Shame doesn't disappear overnight, but your strength to overcome it grows with every step you take. The most powerful thing you can do is confront your shame, and in doing so, reclaim your power. Shame is just the beginning. How you rise from it is the story that defines you. Don't let shame define your narrative. Create a new story that celebrates your growth. The moment you stop hiding from shame, you begin the journey to true freedom. Shame isn't a reflection of your soul, but a temporary distortion of your perception. There's no shame in making mistakes. The shame lies in refusing to learn from them. Your imperfections are part of your story. Embrace them and let go of the shame. Shame makes you doubt yourself, but trust in your ability to overcome it and transform. You are worthy of love and growth, no matter how shame tries to convince you otherwise. The shame we carry is not ours to bear forever. We have the power to release it. The more you allow yourself to heal, the less power shame has over your life. Shame may have a voice, but it's your inner peace that should speak louder. Shame fades when you realize your mistakes don't determine your worth. Your actions do. No one can make you feel ashamed unless you choose to internalize their judgments. Shame is a shadow. Let your light shine brightly enough to dissolve it. Embrace your flaws without shame. They are the raw material for your growth. Every time you let go of shame, you make space for your soul to grow and expand. Shame keeps you trapped in the past, but forgiveness releases you into the future. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy. Accept your flaws and let them lead to strength. Shame isn't a scar, it's a lesson waiting to be understood and released. When you stop fearing shame, you stop letting it dictate your actions. Shame is a passing feeling, but self-acceptance is the foundation of lasting peace. True growth happens when you embrace your imperfections with love instead of shame. Your sense of worth doesn't decrease when you make mistakes. It increases when you learn from them. Shame may make you feel small, but courage helps you stand tall again. Don't let shame be the loudest voice in your head. Your self-love should be the loudest. Shame tries to make you invisible, but self-compassion brings you back into the light. Shame is the enemy of progress. Self-compassion is its greatest ally. You are more than your past mistakes. Your future is shaped by your present choices. Shame can't survive in the light of self-love and acceptance. Forgiving yourself for past mistakes is the first step in healing from the shame they caused. Shame is often rooted in fear, fear of judgment, fear of rejection, but you have the power to rise above it. You don't need to carry the weight of your past with shame. You can choose to heal from it. Shame is a reminder that you care, but don't let it convince you that you're not enough. The real strength is not in avoiding shame, but in learning how to face it and move beyond it. When you stop attaching shame to your mistakes, you free yourself to start anew. Shame teaches you what doesn't serve you. Embrace the lesson and move forward without it. There's no shame in feeling vulnerable, only in not embracing it as an opportunity for growth. Shame thrives in silence, but healing happens when you speak your truth. You don't need to be perfect to be deserving of love. Accept yourself with all your flaws. Shame can feel like a weight around your heart, but self-love will always lighten the load. The key to breaking free from shame is realizing that your past doesn't have the power to define you. Shame tries to make you feel less than, but self-compassion reminds you that you are more than enough. Healing from shame begins the moment you stop punishing yourself for being human. Your journey is not defined by the shame you carry, but by the love you choose to embrace. Shame makes you retreat from the world, but self-acceptance empowers you to step forward with confidence. You are not the mistakes you've made, nor the shame you feel. You are the person you choose to become. The shame you carry doesn't define who you are. The way you handle it shows your strength. Shame may try to bury you, but your courage to rise will always outshine its weight. You are worthy of compassion, not just from others, but from yourself as well. Let go of shame, and you will make space for the things that truly matter in your life. Shame is a fleeting feeling, but the lessons you learn from it can last a lifetime. You don't need to hide your imperfections. Embrace them and let them shape your growth.